Thank you very much indeed for coming here this evening and giving up your time. I hope it will be an extremely useful and rewarding discussion that we have. I just want to say a little bit about myself. I'm David Grimshaw. I work for Practical Action, where I head the New Technologies team. I've been working with the University of Sussex for the past 2 years on an ESRC supported project on delivering public value from new technologies. Arising out of that came an idea for reviewing the Sussex Manifesto. Briefly, the Manifesto was developed 40 years ago.
My name is Adrian Ely, and for those of you who don't know, I work at the University of Sussex in the UK. I'm based at the Specs, and then I'd like to explain how this session fits into the Manifesto project's broader aims.
But because my granddaughter, my eldest granddaughter, was born 30 years ago in Kathmandu. So I have to say that Nepal has a very special place in my heart, and I'm very much looking forward to your discussions this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. So, as Jeff said, we're looking forward today. The world we face is utterly different from that faced by our colleagues in 1970. In some cases, the problems of the past, for example, poverty alleviation and global inequality remain, and in others, such as global climate change, we're faced with new threats and potential new crises. And what is required in this day and age is what we call a 3D approach to innovation. Firstly, we are interested in the direction in which innovation is proceeding, rather than just how fast. And we're looking for directions of innovation and development that take us towards specific sustainability objectives. Secondly, we're interested in distribution, more precisely, more equitable distribution of benefits, burdens and risks associated with innovation. And lastly, we're interested in diversity of technologies, policies, cultures and practices, and the extent to which these can contribute to increased resilience. So as Jeff has said, rather than just drawing on perspectives from Sussex, the new Manifesto project wants to highlight perspectives from other parts of the planet. And today is the first of several roundtables we hope to hold with partners around the world. We'll be using this event as a pilot event to learn from our experiences and improve. And in this respect, we'd appreciate your feedback on how well you think the process has gone and on potential future improvements. We've collected appropriate contributions. These will be put onto a dedicated part of the Manifesto project website. I'm hoping that you see the URL of the Manifesto project website on your screen now. Now I think it just remains for me to thank you again very much for your attendance at this session and for your contribution to the Manifesto project. We're really
comprehensive introduction. I hope now that you've all got an idea of the timescales involved. It is a fairly tight schedule, but there is a convener in each one of the tables who has been briefed about how to help you through the process. So we're going to begin that process now with discussions in each table, focusing on question 1. And you have 20 minutes, and I'm going to have to stick to that fairly rigidly, otherwise we'll be having a very late meal this evening. So please can you capture as much richness in discussion as possible, and we'll take it on from there. You've got 20 minutes.
Work within Seoul, so by 6:30 we'll be completing the technology
In the context of innovation.
maybe we are dealing with specifically. If it's autonomy and simply from rights, which is more plan there. That's no special.
So we have to manufacture.
Okay.
We're going to fix it.
Let's leave it there and let's do a quick round of what is in your head and then we can come back to those issues.
Two issues concerning asylum seeking with TI, with STI. We need to develop our STI policies because we do not have any. All the
Science,
countries,
technology, and
any innovation
policies.
policies, we do not. Agriculture.
So it's basically that balance between environmental protection and development.
Yeah.
To actually enhance economic and social security. Yeah? This is the ultimate thing that we are promoting in the community through our different intervention approach and policy.
We look at the recent World Economic Forum report, and Nepal is in 126 position out of 134 countries surveyed. Position is because of continuity.
But I just urge you now to come to a conclusion, and I'm going to take one table at a time and ask for reports back. So I literally will give you one more minute, and then I have to be absolutely clear, because otherwise you're not going to eat tonight, and then I'll be in big trouble. Okay, probably the first bit of feedback to Sussex is we need more time on these things. But we've got, 2.5 hours scheduled, so it's quite a long time. And we do need to move on now, I'm afraid. So I'm going to ask the table here to start the process and ask if you would all listen, because I'm going to ask each table in turn not to repeat points, but simply to add additional points in order to save our time.
Talks a little bit about economics, the economical sustainability, the social and cultural sustainability, and the ecological sustainability. However, before we went to explaining this particular framework, what we then talked a little bit about was what does development mean for us, particularly for practitioners in this particular region. And then we started talking about the voices from the field. For us, what is it that we hear? What are the issues of sustainability that we hear in our field of work? And for us, the vision of sustainability is not a grandiose sort of a big framework that looks at all aspects of the sustainability framework, but rather specific questions, more location specific. For example, in the Hindu Kush Himalayan region, issues of food security, issues of having adequate cash generation and income generation were more important. And even issues regarding how to mitigate migration because of the vulnerability associated with the migrant as well as the families left behind. So again, when we're talking about the development, the direction of development that sort of needs to address this sustainability, we're trying to look at types of development that recognizes the local people's innovative capacity, that tries to shift the balance of power. What we talked about in the symposium so far looks at multilateralism and brings out partners and their capacity. And what is important for us were two aspects, which was devolution and decentralization. Capacity is building the capacity to make decisions, which calls for exercise on capacity building, that sort of a thing. And when we talk about decentralization, I don't have to go into details about that, but rather using examples on how to decentralize governance, how to decentralize access to funds, how to decentralize decision making, so on and so forth. I have saved a little bit of time so I can ask my colleagues here to sort of build on it or add more to it or enrich this particular report back. So. Yeah.